Hi folks, you're with Tacitus today, your pushback channel, and thank you for joining this audio live stream. Please listen to this presentation as you would a radio broadcast. I guess one of the biggest things that's going to occur, and it's huge, I think, in its ramifications, is that, well, a few threads coming together here. Firstly is that the social security number issuing and control and oversight system used by the US government did, according to DOGE, at least if I've understood it correctly, according to DOGE, there was no duplicate matching. So if 10 people or 5 people or 100 people were using the exact same social security number, there was no alarms that went off. There was no identifying. There was no report to go, hey, look at all these people using the same social security number. Now, this among the insiders, this was well known. Everybody involved with it knew that. Now, unlike in places like Australia, where if there is a duplicate number used, that there is instant action and attention drawn to that. In the US, for some obscure reason, it wasn't. It seems incredible. It seems impossible to conceive that there would be no matching of duplicate use of social security numbers, given the potential that it creates for mass fraud. But rather like voter registration and voter paper, the mail-in voting and all this sort of thing, there seem to be vast areas in the United States that are just wide open for mass levels of fraud, and this, of course, is one of them. Now, what struck me as odd and has done it that even while I used to go to the US almost every month on business, and reading the papers and that sort of thing, and looking at stories online, was that there would be raids on, say, I don't know, various businesses. Could be a meat packing plant or a fruit packing plant or whatever. Usually lower wage, grunt type jobs, but there would be a raid and they would uncover 500 people who were illegal aliens, but all of whom had proper social security documentation. So, well, if they had that documentation, it was acquired illegally, which it must have been through one fraudulent means or another, just a fake document, using the social security number of dead people or anything. But somehow the people who are running the scams saying, we'll issue a social security number, don't worry, no one's ever going to check because there'll be no duplication, duplicate use of numbers that's going to come up will be flagged by any computer system or database, relational database or anything like that. So the people involved knew that, otherwise they wouldn't have so casually and carelessly issued thousands, hundreds of, in this case, but in other cases, thousands of fake social security numbers. So there are people involved in producing the documents that must, look legitimate. So it gives this illegal an ability to get work, seemingly legal. So the illegal can get legal work and access various government programs and, healthcare and so on. So this all struck me as odd. Why wasn't it? So I just assumed that somehow there'd been a glitch, or somehow they're getting away with it, or that there weren't enough enforcement officers to do the checking in the field. I just assumed it was something along those lines. But I had no idea until DOGE recently uncovered it, and that there was no matching of duplicate fake issued social security numbers. Now, if I've understood this correctly, they're going to rectify that. So, security numbers. Now, if I've understood this correctly, they're going to rectify that. So, again, given the amount of raids that went on, there weren't a vast number of raids, but where they were, it came up time and time again that they all had social security numbers. This aren't just illegals working under the table for a few bucks on not like they would in some corner bodega or corner store or delivering, I don't know, pizzas or something. It's not like that. So this was people who were being formally employed with fake documents. And best I can determine, and some have suggested that there's somewhere, give or take, somewhere around 15 million illegals working in the United States with fake, duplicate, counterfeit social security numbers. So by doing a number matching thing with A, dead people, and B, existing social security number users, it won't be hard to track down all these people that are using the fake numbers, but also to go to employers. Now, Tom Homan and his team are going to have then an option once they're supplied with this information, which I don't think won't take too long to put it together. Once they're supplied with this information, there's various laws have been broken, of course, not just by the illegal aliens, but by those who enabled and facilitated the issuing of fake documents. And it'll have been run through some labour hire firm that itself will be illegal. So there should be vast opportunities for launching prosecutions here. But it's going to have a number of effects. Either one, Mr. Homan's team, Secretary Homan's team, can go into these places and just en masse nab hundreds of illegals at a time. That's one option, and then just deport them all. So that's that. The second thing is that they can issue a notice to the company saying, look, we know that you've got 500 people, 1,000, or have many people working there with fake social security documents. You must terminate them immediately, or we'll issue with a gazillion dollar fine. And by the way, we're going to fine you anyway, but not too much now, but you need to do what we want. And the third knock-on effect of this is that it'll let employers, labour hire firms, anyone around the place, let them know that the scam with using fake social security numbers is over. That's gone. You can't do that anymore. And if you don't have a social security number, you can't get a job. You can't get any form of employment. If you do employ someone, the fines will be heavy. So this will automatically create a vast wave of illegals that are just going to have to self-repatriate. Suddenly they can't get a job. They can't get medical care or food stamps or handouts. They can't parasite off the American system, which they've been doing for however long. And so they're going to have to self-deport. It's going to be their only option. They'll have no other option. And by the way, they're illegal anyway. So if they get grabbed, they're going to be deported anyhow. They could say, well, actually, I want to get deported because then the American government will pay for my plane fare back to Guatemala or whatever it might be. So there could be that, but in reality, the knock-on effect will be huge just on this. And again, given the amount of raids, there haven't been that many raids where all the people that they got in the dragnet all had fake social security numbers. We can reasonably assume that the amount of illegals with fake documents will easily run into the tens of millions. So this alone could be a huge opportunity for mass deportation and indeed mass self-deportation, just by running a clean, efficient social security number database, which you'd think a first year graduate out of a statistics graduate out of even a third tier college would do. But somehow the US government hasn't done that until DOGE has flagged it as an issue. Now, this makes me wonder to what extent was the government purposefully and willfully, indeed treacherously involved in this scam, knowing that it was being used for nefarious, illegal purposes. Was the US government, or at least this department, in effect a co-conspirator to defraud the taxpayer? I would argue the possibility is very strongly yes, they were and are. You've been with Tacitus today, your Pushback channel. Thank you for listening.